I was quite a sassy child. How? You were a puddle. Oh right, sassy. Here we go, boys and girls, here we go. Because buying a fish is starting a family. Savage. Oops, just sass there. Is this video going to be absolute shambles? Yes, it absolutely will be. Oh, we're going to film it anyway? Yes, we absolutely are. Let's get started. Today I'm actually reading through all of my old RE arguments. I used to have an opinion and I didn't understand that other people could also have a different opinion. I thought my opinion was right and that was it, and that was end of argument. So having to give both sides in RE, I wasn't very good at that. I also failed GCSE RE, which was meant to be the easiest. I was predicted to get an A star, but I was too busy arguing with my RE teacher to actually do the work. So I went into my exam crying my absolute eyes out. I just sat there, didn't even write my name on the paper, didn't write anything, got a U. So, wasn't great times in my life, to be honest. Was not a good start to my GCSEs, it wasn't. Oh, I just... My handwriting was massive back then. This is what my handwriting ended up looking like in A-levels. And this is what it looked like in year 9. Fair bit bigger. So this is the question, and it should probably be about this long. No, mine's there, and that one, and also there. So, I mean, that just shows how bad I was at exam style questions. I just tried to get my point across and would keep going at it and at it and at it for 3 marks. I remember learning like all these box standard answers. It winds me up reading it back because it still doesn't answer the question. That's why I didn't like writing them, because it doesn't answer the question. The Bible is the most important thing for Christians. Do you agree? Yes, I do agree. Evangelical Christians believe the Bible is the most important thing for Christians because to them the Bible is the word of God. God is almighty and powerful, so his words, as indirect as they are, is the holy text in the Bible. This belief encourages me and many others to believe that the Bible is the most important thing for Christians. That to me does not answer the question. It doesn't. But that was the sort of answer he gave to absolutely everything. It's stating the fact that evangelical Christians believe the Bible is the word of God. But why does that mean that the Bible is more important than things like the church? It doesn't answer the question. But you couldn't go on to explain about other things like that because you'd be taken to an exam, and that statement that I said at the start is what would get you the marks, and to me it's just wrong. Believe it in God. Wednesday 19th of November 2014. More than 6 years ago. Absolutely mad. I am actually on the first page and I've just got 2 answers that are half completed, and it says at the side, my old form tutor, you can copy your draft in. So I obviously went to him and said, look, I've done my homework, it's on a draft, I just haven't had time to do it on a book because I've been up all night doing homework from other subjects and stuff like that, but I have done your homework because that's what I used to do. I used to draft absolutely everything and then copy it up properly. But I also, just from seeing that word, I can feel how much anxiety I used to get from not wanting to copy my draft in until my draft was marked because I didn't want to have a wrong answer in my book. So everything took me twice as long, and it just wasn't a good time. Just wasn't a good time in my life. The only way I can really explain how I used to deal with RE is I used to pick at things in the question rather than answer the question. So I'm just reading one now. I did sit the old spec. I know GCSE has changed now. It's grade 1 to 9. So it's a D-part question. The design argument proves that God exists. Do you agree? No, I do not agree. Firstly, I think this because it is an argument. It is not a solid fact and so simply cannot be believed to be true. So I didn't talk about the design argument, I talked about the word argument. So I wouldn't get the marks because that wouldn't be on the mark scheme, but to me, that answered the question. I was quite a sassy child. I very much cut off my nose to spite my face. So my teacher would come over to me and be like, look, I see what you're doing, you're completely right, however, you're not going to get the marks in the exam, so you just need to bite your tongue and write what the examiner wants you to write. And I was like, can't do that because it's really irritating me. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna not write anything at all. This next answer to the same question got the comment, that's wacky, from my teacher. So another reason I disagree is because of puddles. Imagine you were a puddle and have no recollection of how the world works. You look around and think, wow, this world is so complex and amazing and I fit perfectly into this hole. It must have been designed for me. We know that's not true. Yet some still support the design argument. We might fit perfectly like the puddle, but the puddle could not see how the world works, like how we cannot see how the universe works. It's exactly the same. Not so sure about that now, but you know, we'll go with that. This is when my writing started getting smaller because I always got the comment, you need to be more concise. So I wrote as small as I possibly could at the time, and I got the comment, well done, you managed to be more concise, when actually I wrote the exact same amount just in smaller text. This statement may be upsetting for some people. I agree with abortion because it is just another type of medication to make the world a better place. I'm really not sure on your wording there, younger me. I was only 14 though, so I've got another question for you. No Christian should have sex outside of marriage. Do you agree? How would you interpret that question? Because I just had to read my full answer to finally understand what I thought the question meant, which isn't what I think it means now. No Christian should have sex outside of marriage. Okay, so that means no Christian should have sex before marriage. That's what I think that means now. But whether I knew that at the time or not, because this is what I was like as a child, I would, like, we would talk about it in class and they'd be like, oh yeah, before marriage and stuff like that, and I'd go, well, it doesn't say before marriage, it says outside of marriage. Then I would talk about completely the wrong question just to spike the question, but then I wouldn't get any marks. So my answer is completely about how Christians shouldn't be unfaithful. They shouldn't cheat on their partners, basically. Like, if they've got married, they shouldn't commit adultery. But I don't think that's what the question actually means. What do you think it means? This never got marked, so I don't know. But then to disagree with that, disagree with myself, it says somebody may disagree with me because they have free will and they want to sleep around, and that's absolutely fine. But yeah, I don't think that's what the question meant. Do you? Do you think that's what the question meant? What are we on to now? Year 10. So I've got a different RE teacher this time. Look at how tiny Marian's got there. This whole video is just a journey of my handwriting. And sometimes we went all cursive as well, just depended what mood I was in. Here we go. 8th of September 2016, so I was still 15. This was homework in year 11. Do you think that religious experiences prove that God exists? I have not given an answer to this. I have just drawn arrows all around the title, explaining why the title is wrong. One of the arrows says, I can explain why religious experiences may lead to a belief in God, but not prove. Because I didn't like this word prove. Do you think that religious experiences prove that God exists? No, I can't, because I can only explain why it may lead to belief, but I cannot prove it. There's no proof against or for the argument, and belief is very much different from proof. And all the work we've done on is belief, not proof. My RE teacher actually wrote back in one of them, he put, I accept that you don't believe personally, but you are aware that there are other people in the world. Question mark. Savage. Absolutely savage. So I used to write so big answers, like fully going in, explaining my point, and I used to always get the comments, as we've seen, you know, you need to be more concise, you're not going to have time to write that in the exam. And then the past few sort of tasks we've been given, I'd just not written anything. Like, I just planned and like annotated the question, saying why the question was wrong and therefore I couldn't answer it. And so then I've got this reply. Worth an attempt beyond your plan, write as much as you want and I will pick out the good bits. So at this point it's like, well, we've gone from having too big an answer to not having an answer at all. Which is worse? Here we go, boys and girls, here we go. This is one of the things that stands out in my memory when I think about my time with RE. Do you think that abortions should be completely banned? Wait till we get into it. To answer this question, we must first look at the meaning of abortion. Can you tell where this is going? I've picked up on the word abortion. On the other hand, where does this actual question refer to? Should abortions be completely banned in the UK, because it hasn't said in this question, in the world, in space and the wider universe? It appears as though we are not to consider and apply this question to the wider universe because it is not considered plausible. But then, how are we expected to debate the existence of ghosts and God? Equally, we are not supposed to debate why elephants are pink. Just sass there. And then we get down to, similarly, the term abortion currently applies to the rest of the development of a seed, fruit and other organ as well. Surely this question does not apply to the scientific discovery, for example, of how selective seed abortion increases offspring survival in some sort of fancy plant I can't even attempt to name. In summation, this question can be so broadly interpreted that there can never be one definitive answer. Guess what? 0 marks. So that's how I spent, you know, like 4 hours of my day just completely avoiding the question. Whereas other people would write an answer to that in 5 minutes. Nice. I also had to read for about half an hour a really long, like, university report about plant abortions. And it completely went over my head. But I just wanted to make that much of a point about how stupid the question is. But at the end of the day, I was not going to be able to change the exam paper, was I? No, I wasn't. So it was just a complete waste of everybody's time. Euthanasia is the same as murder. No, euthanasia is not the same as murder, because this is the definition of murder and this is the definition in euthanasia, and if they were the same thing they'd have the same definition. No marks. I'm literally embarrassed for my answers. I'm so embarrassed. I think I really annoyed my RE teacher. I explained how Roman Catholic parishes help with the upbringing. So I put the 4 answers we were meant to answer, and then we had to annotate our own work, like mark our own. So I've put, well, these are stupid answers basically, for this reason, this reason, this reason, this reason. Would a baptism go ahead if a child was screaming in refusal, because that goes against their free will? How does marriage affect a child? Do parishes stand in the streets and feed babies? No, they don't. In response, he's put, and this is all based on your experience raising children, with a question mark. Oh right, sassy. But this was my whole point. Like, I don't have experience raising children, so how am I supposed to argue that? How? Marriage is the best way to begin family life. It doesn't say have children, it says family life. So I've said how this question is silly because my partner and I would have to wait to get married before we could buy a fish together, because buying a fish is starting a family. You know, having a pet is a family member, so having a fish is a family. This is my teacher after mocking my work. This is a good piece of work and lots of levels. You have played the exam game and have been able to voice your own views. It's all about a game, and I don't play games. If I'm not 100% sure I'm going to win a game, I'm not going to play. I've just been here, there and everywhere trying to find my old mocks, the GCSE mocks, because I did have them at home and I don't know where they've gone. Maybe I did bin them because they were in tatters. I mean, like, I literally sat there crying, so they were all wet and you've gone crinkly, and then I'd scrunched it up and scrunched it up again and again, so it was literally falling out in pieces, and I don't think I wrote anything in them. I think they were all pretty much blank. Yeah, that was interesting. That is the end of the video. I don't know what it's going to turn out to be like. I feel like I've just sat here and chatted absolute rubbish and nobody's really been listening, but that is absolutely fine. Don't worry about it. I do hope this hasn't offended you. I don't think like that anymore. It's good that we can reflect on these things though, so thank you very much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll hopefully catch you in the next one. Bye!